My name is Jose Luis Lopez, and my research project is on small group mentoring, a method for improving outcomes in foundations of nursing practice. It is well known that a great number of students enrolling in community colleges require remediation in one or more of the basic academic skills, whether it be mathematics or English. Students enrolled at El Paso Community College are no exception to the many obstacles faced by students at other community colleges throughout the country. Of course, most of the students here at El Paso Community College are of Hispanic origin, with English as their second language. Many of them come from low-income families. Single mothers is not uncommon to here at El Paso Community College, and neither is being the first person to attend college. Many lack a solid support system at home to assist them with the rigors of nursing school. Some also face social isolation from friends and family, mainly because of the amount of time that they spend studying for their nursing courses in order to achieve success. Also, many have a difficult time adjusting to the enormous amount of information that's presented on a daily basis. Entering students also continue to demonstrate deficiency in study and test-taking skills, and this is one of the things that they really have a problem with once they start, during their first semester of study, and that's something that they should have actually acquired during their previous years of education before they actually enrolled at El Paso Community College, and especially before they were admitted into the nursing program. So the purpose of this study is to determine the efficacy of a small group mentoring intervention program, which is aimed at improving test scores of first semester nursing students in foundations of nursing practice. So what I did was I asked two questions. First of all, will small group mentoring actually improve test scores of first semester nursing students? And is there a correlation between early mentoring intervention and the performance of first semester nursing students' unit exams and standardized test scores? The review of literature reveals that faculty mentoring and support of students has a significant positive impact on student success. Further, direct interactions are the highest rated strategies to decrease student attrition rates. Also, the most effective the most effective strategies were timely feedback on test performance, timely feedback on clinical performance, and of course, faculty availability. The conceptual framework, which I designed from going back into my early years of nursing school, I derived that from Florence Nightingale, which she came up with a environmental theory. Florence Nightingale was born in 1820 and she died in 1910, so you can see that this was a long time ago when Florence Nightingale came up with this theory, in which if you manipulate the environment, you can actually improve the outcomes of ill individuals, and by the manipulation of positive and negative outcomes, you can actually change whether they're going to get better or get worse in terms of their health. So what I did was I looked at this model and I incorporated some of my own concepts and came up with a mentoring environmental model for our students. Now, excuse me. The conceptual framework is based on the mentoring design of the model, in which the major components are the mentor, the mentee, and the environment, and they form the foundation. The threads, of course, serve to guide both the student and the mentor in order to address all the necessary information that needs to be addressed during the semester to make sure that you do end up with positive outcomes during those mentoring sessions. When we look at at communication, whether it be verbal or nonverbal, That's a necessary component in order to establish a trusting relationship between mentor and mentee. Knowledge, of course, has to do with how much knowledge the mentor has and how much knowledge the mentee has, and being able to share that knowledge both ways and trying to determine what are the necessary steps in order to take to ensure success for the student. Critical thinking, of course, is has to do with both the mentor and mentee, in that they need to be able to think outside the box whenever they're communicating with each other. Accountability, a very important factor in terms of making sure that the mentor and mentee both are accountable for the times that they set as far as getting together and following the plan of action that they have put together. And it's more like a contract between mentor and mentee that they both have to agree upon and also carry through in order to keep that trusting relationship that they have actually built with one another. Evaluation, again, that's also, I believe that's probably the most important component of the whole area, because the evaluation of the mentor has to be one that, whether or not he can actually help the mentee. And also the mentee's evaluation of him or herself, it has to be an honest one in terms of, am I really getting what I am supposed to from my mentoring sessions, and am I truly understanding the areas that we're addressing? Without a good self-honest evaluation, then you can't proceed any further simply because I guess you could say you're just tricking yourself into thinking that you know something that you don't, instead of really addressing what you really need. So all these concepts, when you put them all together, they form the mentor environmental model, and that's really what we try to base our mentoring around in the Foundations of Nursing Practice. Now, the design is a descriptive longitudinal study using a convenient sample of first semester nursing students over the span of 4 semesters. The control group for the study is the first semester nursing students during spring of 2010, where no formal mentoring was actually provided. We hadn't really started the formal mentoring where we included all the faculty. There had been some mentoring done by some faculty members, but it hadn't actually been addressed as a formal, I guess a formal program or intervention that we were going to have with our students. Information for the study was obtained using test scores on unit exams in Foundations of Nursing Practice and the National Council Licensure the National Council Licensure Examination pass rates for El Paso Community College. Students were mentored in small groups of no more than 10 students and also on an individual basis. Okay, looking at the results that I found through this study, we got the averages of all the unit exams taken by students. Here during the spring of 2010, you can see that the students, that was before they were actually mentored in a formal way, were doing a little bit, their averages were a little bit lower or quite lower than after once mentoring got started. We started the mentoring the fall of 2010 and has continued all the way to today. You can see the progression from semester to semester. Those exam averages have kept going up and improving. There was a time period between, I believe it was the spring of 2010 and the fall of 2011 where no mentoring took place. But and that might limit a little bit the outcomes of this study. But nevertheless, if that progression was the same as when we started, then those grades probably reflect that they actually also went up. When we look at the percentage of students passing their first semester, we pretty much see the same outcome. Back when there was no mentoring, the percentage of students at the very beginning would be very low. You got to remember that, or recall, that during exam 1, the students are fresh. They haven't really gotten that much mentoring. So it's it's not uncommon to see those test scores actually be a lot lower than later on throughout the semester. As we move forward into going from spring of 2010 to the fall of 2012, you can see that on the final grade, you know, or the final outcome of the course, in the fall of 2012, every single student passed the foundations of nursing process. A big difference that took place due to mentoring. Now, one of the things that when we look at these scores, I say, well, maybe the exams were a little bit easier than during the other semesters as opposed to the other semesters. Well, we look at the Intex pass rates. This is a national. An exam that is administered by the National Council it's the National Council Licensure exam. This is the one that's administered by the Board of Nursing in order to get your license. So so this is a national exam. And when we look at the results of this, back in 2010, the percent of pass rate was at 78.38%. Again, that's before actual mentoring took place. Now, starting in the year of 2011, we see that, you know, the students began to get mentored as a whole in the whole school, not just in foundations, but as a whole. So you saw that progression actually move up quite a bit. And as those students that had been mentored a little bit for a longer period of time, those pass rates have continued to go up. And right now, here in the year of 2013, we actually saw for that first quarter a 97.6% pass rate. The students in the year of 2012 actually received 4 semesters of complete formalized mentoring. So you can see that the mentoring, as more students have been involved, has actually led to higher national test scores in their license exam. Now, in summary, when we look at all the data, we see that small group mentoring is an effective method for improving outcomes, and there does appear to be a correlation between early intervention and student success. Direct interactions are the highest rated strategies to decrease attrition rates, and also the most effective strategies seem to be timely feedback by the faculty and also their availability to the students. I want to thank you, and that was my presentation. A little bit better.